Hello and welcome to the Armor's Fix. My name is Kyle. For those of you returning, thank you for coming back. And those of you just joining us today, welcome. Hope you enjoy it. Today we're going to be discussing something that just got dropped a couple days ago, the Glock 43X. Okay, I'm assuming it's a Glock answer. Wow. Okay, cool. I'm assuming this is Glock's answer to the SIG 365. Instead of being just a straight up single stack, I believe this one is going to be a slim double stacked, micro double stacked, a staggered single stack. I don't know what to call it. Micro awesomeness, though. It is definitely that. SIG created an awesome gun. It's a really cool gun. The 365 does interesting things. Everyone freaked out, cried. All that stuff, guys, it's dead and gone. I'm not hearing anything really much about issues of that gun except for the ones that first came out. And I'm sorry, I don't know of very many guns that come out without having issues. And let's not forget Glock having issues with the Gen 5. Let's not forget Glock having issues with the Gen 4. It's okay. Guns that are new have problems. Everyone's over here knifing people in the back over different brands of guns, and it's ridiculous. It's pretty rare that a new gun comes out and has no problems. So here we are. 365 seems to be running great. Mine is running excellent. In fact, it's right here. There we go. I'm in about 880 rounds, give or take 10 or 15. The guns ran great. The gun's been awesome, and it answers a lot of things for us. Everybody seems to want a slim single stack gun, this itty bitty tiny micro pocket gun. We're at a single stack size, but we actually carry 13 rounds in the gun, 12 in the magazine plus one. And it's incredible. Honestly, I'd said I'd never carry a single stack again or a pocket gun, but really it comes down to I'd never carry a single stack gun again. And there are guys out there carrying full-size 1911s that hold less rounds that just hit me. That's crazy. Let's go back to the Glock 43. Glock 43 was cool. Single stack Glock. Everybody is wanting it. When the 380 came out at the 42, everyone's like, oh my gosh, this is so cool. Meanwhile, most of us were also saying, oh my gosh, just do the 9 already. 380 is dead as Glock hits and brings it in a little bit too late. No, it's not dead. I know some of you carry it and it's a great gun and everything. I'm not bashing it. It's totally fine. But if 380 is what you got and what you carry, I'm totally cool with that. I think that's awesome. Props to you. 2A all the way, right? That 43 tends to have next to no hiccups. I personally never had a jam out of a 43. I've actually never had a jam out of a 42 though, so that's not saying much really if you're talking about my experience. However, I've seen a lot of people who shot the 42s and had several limp wrist issues with it, or stovepipes. I don't know if it's caused necessarily by a limp wrist. Typically it is. The 43 seems like it's ran really, really well for people. From the 43, we step out to this deal breaker where everybody freaked out of the 365. Oh my gosh, a slim double stack, micro double stack, or a staggered single stack, whatever you want to call it. It's cool. It's awesome. It's amazing. It's innovative. It's the first thing. Not really. The Taurus G2C was done before it, and shockingly, for a gun that's ridiculously affordable, the Taurus G2C seems to be doing very, very well. One of my local gun shops, Eagle Armory, those guys sell them like crazy. I ask them on the regular, what about the G2C customers? Any complaints? Anything? Any problems that anyone's having? No complaints whatsoever across the boards. That gun has been running for people very, very well. And guess what? It's a slim double stack, just like the 365. So no, the SIG's not the first. Go back into, I believe, the 70s. There was the Browning BDA. I can't remember the name of the Beretta that's basically the same thing. In fact, the Browning BDA was made in Italy in Beretta's factory. But it's a 380 that's double stacked and a little subcompact gun, and it holds 13 plus 1. How crazy is that? 14 rounds of 380 in this sweet little package. That's pretty cool. There's so many problems, I think, with the gun industry where you have your gun guys who are gun fighters. You have the competition guys too, and everyone who just like, this is a way of life. They're not just, yeah, I got a gun. Yeah, I shoot, every 2 to 5 years, but they tell everybody they shoot at least 3 or 4 times a year, and it's not true. We see a lot of stuff come through that I don't feel like anybody asked for. For example, Glock. What were you thinking on the Gen 5s with the moon cut on the front strap? A Glock 19, that lovely little lip right there is so important for fighting against the recoil, and you robbed us of it. Taking the finger grooves, awesome. You listen to at least what 70% of people who shoot Glocks wanted, and then that moon cut, just why? ambi slide release. I know a lot of people think they want them as a lefty. I don't. I'm a lefty. I'm going to be putting a video out on that. I've already done a write-up on it before in the past, and I'm going to pull some of that information, add some more to it, and show you guys some demos of everything. But left-handed shooters, you don't need a slide lock. I've had customers with the CZ P10Cs here lately. We just been hacking those off on the right side of the gun for the lefties, because guess what? There's a problem we've never had, and that's accidentally bumping the slide lock and locking the slide to the rear while we still have rounds in the gun. Now we have this lovely ambidextrous slide lock that is making people lock up on guns early. It's terrible. Like, I'm not interested in the majority of the guns I see that on, and the first ones I really paid attention to it coming out on was probably the VP9. Yeah, it was a big turnoff for me, and a big reason why I didn't go with one of those. Also, I'm not a huge fan of the HK paddle design, which is awesome. HK is coming out with one that actually has a standard mag release, and HK, golf clap. That's for you. Love. I appreciate that so much. I'll be digging into one of those for sure. Back to the point, Glock 43X. What is it? It's a 43 that's longer and a little bit wider. We go from 6 rounds up to 10 rounds. That's cool, because if you look at a SIG, the flush fit in the mag is 10 rounds as well. So it's equal, right? Wrong. The SIG's shorter. You add the extended mag into the 365 and your whole hand will fit on it. And that's kind of nice. And that puts you at 12 rounds. So this new Glock, the cool thing is your whole hand's going to fit on that whole gun at 10 rounds. So it's always exciting when Glock comes out with something new, because everyone gets super jazzed. This one's going to be cool. I think this one's going to grab a lot of attention, because you got a lot more people, because you're hitting that concealed carry market that everyone's kind of obsessed with, and everything's being designed around right now. Here I'm going to post the pictures, which were posted by Recoil magazine. Here's a standard 43. I'm going to add in the 43X so you can see them right here side by side with this ghosted image, how much longer it is. And if those of you who have a 43 who are interested in the 43X, take that 43 and put it in your hand right now and look at that, and you can see about where that extends to and about how that's going to feel in your hand. According to Recoil magazine, the grip is going to be 4 millimeters wider, and the grip is going to be 15 millimeters longer than the 43. So those are going to be your kind of tech specs that we have to go from at the moment. This is going to lead in my next point. What I want to see the industry go to, and I think this is our peak in that direction. Right now we're entertaining the concealed carry crowd with some really cool options, and we're stepping up their ammo game. But something SIG did a long time ago with the SIG 227 went from 8 rounds to 10 rounds. That was really, really cool. But immediately I was like, why isn't this being done in a 9mm? Like, what? I want this. This is genius. It's beautiful. Let's do it in a 9. And I was like, if we can do that on this gun, why can't we do this on something like the 229 or 226 and shove another 3 to 5 bullets in it? Now, we see the 365 and what they can do with the 10 rounds in that tiny grip. Then if you extend it out, you've got 12 plus 1. So imagine a similar concept to that in a gun that is wider, that holds 17, 18, 20, 23, who knows, depending on what size of gun we're talking about. But really what I want to see is, think of a Glock 43 and think of a Glock 19. So you've got your slim single stack, and then you've got your nice, just overall compact, yet still big boy gun. What if we dipped right in the middle of that, making a slimmer gun that's not quite as big, but overall a nice compact frame gun or medium framed gun, that instead of holding 15 rounds, it does that slim double stack concept, and we can pull 18, 19 rounds out of it. And then the Glock 17, same thing. We trim it up. Think of the slimness of the front end of a Browning high power. You know, you're going to get a little bit more recoil out of any of these things like this, but think of slimming that gun up, even on those large full frame guns, and being able to have 20, 22 rounds in it. Like, I think that Glock 19, Glock 43 size, like mixing in between those two, would be a beautiful, beautiful platform. I'm going to step back a bit and talk about the 43X. Now, one thing that I think is really, really cool is they took that 43 grip, which on me ends at the top of my finger, and then that's going to extend down to where basically my full hand will fit it almost. Now, a lot of you guys have a 43 already, and you're thinking, well, I've already got a +2 extension grip, you know, something along those lines where it extends down. I can fit my whole hand on it. I already got those extra rounds, so what's the point? Well, when you're shooting those guns, you feel the bottom of your grip flexing under recoil every shot. You don't have that super solid feel on the gun. So where the 43X comes into play there. Having that full frame and that full contact around that to where you don't have that bottom little mag that wiggles around in there, you're going to find it's a lot more comfortable to shoot, and you'll see that you actually have recoil reduction just from that alone. Some of you may not believe that, but I promise it'll be real. If you can put a side by side of the two guns, you'll definitely get a lighter recoil. In fact, on my 365, one of the first things I did is a bit of a grip mod. I took one of the extended mags that holds 12 rounds, and I disassembled it, take the sleeve off, mounted the sleeve to the frame, plasti welded it basically to the gun, and went and did some grip work on it to cover it up so you can't see it there, and hollowed out the inside a little bit to make it bigger because they fit super tight on the mags. So I can actually, let's do it right here. So the normal grip, here's the logo. The normal grip cuts off right about here, again, right at the top edge of my thumb. And that's all I have. So if you see where my hand falls, like that's in the middle of this finger, and that's all the contact I would have. But with that extension, like my fingers all rest on the gun, and I get a great tight firm grip on this thing. And that helps a ton in recoil management. 18% is what it feels like to me. But that's huge, 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 huge when you're looking for any advantage from these smaller guns, because when you get into little pocket guns, they kick a lot harder. When everybody's looking at 365, they're like, wow, it's so cool. It's so much smaller than the 43. I don't like that. I would rather the gun be larger. Again, I think we'll get there. Maybe I have just some weird ideas of what I want. One thing that is weird, that I know is a weird one, but I know some people will like it because of the longer sight radius and longer barrel. I was carrying a 938 as a secondary, and when the 938 22 long side came out, I lost my mind. So we got a little miniature 1911 basically with a long barrel out here, and I was like, oh my gosh, that'd be awesome. Please do it in the 9mm. They're like, yeah, no, it's not going to happen. But still, SIG, if you made a 938 long slide and 9mm, I would buy it. So there's one sale. And if you'd like to buy one, make sure you add that in the comments. Actually, any of these guns, guys, if you're watching this, like, let me know what you're thinking. Do you plan on buying the 43X? Do you currently own a 43? What about the 365s? The 43/19, if that's what you want. Or if you're a different gun brand guy, you like XDs, you like HKs, whatever, go ahead and put in there in the comments what it is you would like to see. Or if you think I'm dead wrong and you just like what we got, then cool. Rock on. That's awesome. That's great. I'm super happy with my guns, but I think there's room for improvement in anything. Typically, when something's handed to me, my first reaction is go through it and pick it apart. Not in a mean way. I look at something and I want to make it better. All right, guys, I want to apologize if I talked your ear off with a bunch of what seemed like pointless information, but I think it's interesting points and some fun stuff to talk about, and I think it's stuff that needs to be addressed, and I think the manufacturers need to hear popular opinion like this. So stay tuned. Our next video is actually just a quick tip on AK-47s. That's why you see 1, 2, I don't know how many are on the wall right now. We got one over here. It's had a little bit of work from the boys over at Rifle Dynamics. Hit that subscribe button, hit that like button, make sure you tune back in for more. The little bell icon that's, I believe, over to the right of our name, The Armor is Fixed. You can click that bell, and that'll actually get you a little notification sound every time we publish a new video, so you can come in and check it out. Those of you who are coming back, thank you sincerely. And those of you who are first-time viewers, welcome to The Armor is Fixed.
So guys, we did something pretty wrong, so that's his fault. Right here, that's his fault.
Bam, 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 bam.